Welcome to the first in a series of notes I'm publishing on how to set up and execute a standard data import in ServiceNow. The series of notes will cover what's needed to build and understand the ServiceNow components that make up a standard import, including data sources, import sets, transform maps, field maps, and finally we'll talk about data import scheduling. In this first note, I really just wanted to set the stage with some terminology that we'll be using throughout the series of notes. Normally, when we think of doing an import of data, we think of two data entities. There's usually a source data entity that stores the data that we're trying to import, and then there's some target entity into which we would like that data loaded. As we get into the ServiceNow import process, you're going to see that ServiceNow introduces an intermediary data entity between those two steps. ServiceNow calls that intermediary table an import set table. I'm going to refer to it throughout these notes as a staging table. Biggest point here is I wanted to let you all know that when you hear me say staging table, it's the same thing as what ServiceNow refers to as an import set table. And I'll try to remember to mention that as often as possible. I think staging table simplifies understanding the process a bit. So staging table in between the source and the target. The staging table is something that ServiceNow automatically creates for us when we kick off our imports. It's not a table we have to manually create. So that's all taken care of for us. So you can see the process really here has three data entities. We have our source data. We have the staging table that ServiceNow will create for us as the import starts. And then finally, we have the target data store where we'd like the data to finally end up within ServiceNow. Our first step in building our import is going to be the creation of what ServiceNow calls a data source, and we will cover that in the next note. Thank you very much for joining.